Hey, welcome back to another focus activity with me, Kirsty. I'm back again. You can't stop me. I'm still going. um, so today we're doing a focus activity 10 to 13 paradise on Earth. So, what is your paradise? What is your paradise? Tell me. I'm curious to know what you define as a paradise. Okay, what does paradise look like to you? Looking at the picture on the screen right now, I think that is probably my idea of paradise, I have to say. Um, Look at that water. It's like green and blue. It's very crystal. It's like crystal clear water. My goodness, I would love to go for a swim in that. I'd love to go for a swim. It looks very clean, the water, and the beach also looks very clean too. No rubbish cans on that beach. My goodness, it looks positively untouched, untouched. So today in this focus activity, we are going to be talking about paradise locations, looking at destination reviews and using colloquialisms to describe places. Right. Now, I can't remember if this is a place in Scotland or a place in Ireland, but it looks kind of Scottish. I think I might have been there when I was a child, actually. I can't remember. It looks very familiar. Someone in Scotland is probably wringing their hands saying, why have you forgotten this place? Okay, what springs to mind when you hear the phrase paradise on earth? Do you think you've ever seen a paradise on earth? If so, describe it. And have you heard of any destinations which are renowned for being idyllic? Um, so by that we just mean, is there a place which you know is well known? Renowned is another way to say well known, in effect. Okay, um, for being idyllic. So, for example, this place in the picture is probably world famous for being the ideal location, a place where you could call a paradise. Okay, so what is paradise for you guys? I want to know. Please, as always, use the comments section to let me know A, that you are there, and B, to tell me what you think. You will get much more out of this online lesson if you talk to me. Well, write to me. It's annoying. I wish I could see all your faces, but unfortunately I can't. So you need to write in the box so I know who you are. Okay. So question number one ultimately is, what do you think is paradise? And then, if you wish, you can answer one of these questions on the screen, and I might talk until I see a comment. Okay. So, what is a paradise? What is a paradise? Okay. Don't look up the dictionary. You should know what it is. A paradise. Is it like the beach? Is it like the castle that you see in the picture? Is it in the mountains? Is it in your bed? Is it in your own home? Hey, Fabiola. Yeah, unique in the world. A beautiful place. Can you think of some of the best paradises in the world? So, for example, some people like the Maldives, some people like Barbados, some people like other places, like Ireland, like Italy. So um, places in Italy. Is there a paradise in Italy? If so, where is it? I want to know. um, or maybe the the Dead Sea can be deemed a paradise because you are able to simply float in the water. Maybe it's a beach that's very close to your house that you consider a paradise. Okay. And do you think you've ever seen a paradise on Earth? Do you think actually as well that paradise can be a concept? It's actually more of a concept as well. It can be a physical place, a physical location, or can we actually say that paradise is a concept in itself? Hey. Yeah, I've been to Sardinia. It's very very nice there. I went to the Costa Smeralda and I went to Golfo Aranci. And where else did I go? Yeah, I went to a few places in Sardinia. I didn't go to. I didn't go everywhere though, I must admit, because I didn't have a car, and I just went on my own. So I didn't want to. I didn't want to drive in Italy because I'm not the most confident driver in the UK. So, and I haven't driven for a long time. But so I need to. I've just remembered I actually need to renew my driver's license in the UK, but like I say, I haven't driven in a very very long time. In fact, it would actually make more sense for me to learn to drive in Italy. But anyway, that's another story. That's another story entirely. Okay, so is it just Fabiola, or are there other people out there? I know you're hiding. I can see you. I can see you watching me. Okay. Number 3, have you ever, sorry, that's not even the word. Have you heard of any holiday destinations which are renowned for being idyllic? Okay. So, is there a place in the world where you would like to go, but where you have never been? Or, for example, if your friends have been to a beautiful location for their honeymoon. So I know some of my friends went to Jamaica for their honeymoon, and they were in this kind of resort in Jamaica, and they think they enjoyed it. But I don't know how close they were to the beach, or whether, like, I'm not quite sure. But considering it was their honeymoon, I'm not sure. I think it was maybe one of these resorts where everything was on like the one place. You know, it was all on the one site. You know, heard of the Maldives? I think. Okay, we say the Maldives. The Maldives. It's plural. The Maldives. It's just in Italian. You guys say the Maldive. Yeah. Yeah, in the Maldives, it's meant to be a paradise there. But do you think actually sometimes um, in one of these places when there is literally no one else on the beach, it's just you and maybe a couple of other people, perhaps, do you think it's quite, I mean, I've never been to the Maldives, hey, so I don't know, but part of me thinks that the Maldives might be quite boring in the sense that you can go there for maybe a few days and then it's like, okay, that's great, thanks very much, and now I need to go. You know, that maybe there are other places which could be considered paradises, and there's like more for you to do. Do you need there to be activities in this location for it to be a paradise, or are you happy to just have palm trees, clean sand, and clear waters? do you basically just need an island for it to be a paradise, or does paradise encompass like other activities, other elements? Not I've known, I've heard. I've heard you can blah blah blah. I've heard, so I would say I've heard you can go fishing and sunbathing every day. I've heard you can taste local cuisine. I've heard you can lie in a hammock. Um, I've heard, oh, hammock. Do you guys know that? A hammock. You can lie in a hammock. Yeah. Drink coconuts. Drink out of a coconut if you want. Paradise for me was actually in Vietnam. I found paradise in Vietnam. I haven't been to Thailand and I haven't been to Cambodia, so I don't know what it's like there. Or I haven't been to Laos or either. But maybe there are paradise locations there that I have to go to see in my lifetime. But I remember quite vividly when I was in Vietnam, the colors and the beach, and there were lots of different locations that I could say that's a little paradise. I remember it was actually more in the south of Vietnam when we were near the Mekong Delta. It was I traveled to Vietnam on my own, and it was myself and a group of essentially Dutch and Belgian tourists. And so they put me, my tour operator, the travel agency that I had used. They're based in Brighton, which is a place near London, and they booked the trip for me because I was working in London at the time and I didn't really have time to organize my trip, and also I was lazy. Fundamentally, I was quite lazy, and I decided to contact this company who are still based in Brighton. They're really good. I would recommend them actually. And I might even use them again in future. Actually, they were that good. They organized my entire trip. Like they planned everything, and they gave me an itinerary of times when I had to be at certain places. They organized internal flights. They were fantastic, and they got me some really good deals. I think the only thing I would do in future is maybe not get a flight that involved 3 changes on the way to Vietnam. That was something that I would recommend to anybody to avoid, because honestly, spending almost, yeah, I would say about 20 hours on flights is not good. Not unless you are close to Australia by the end of it. My God. But I found paradise on earth in Vietnam. So when we were at the Mekong Delta, we were in a place called Can Tho City, and there was one night when I looked out of my window out over the water, and there was this palm tree in the distance, and there was this beautiful kind of yellowy orange sunset, and all the there were some palm trees and buildings, but they were all black, so it was kind of like that. It was almost like that kind of picture that you see so many times of the sunset and palm trees, and it was stunning. And I thoroughly enjoyed Vietnam. I would go back to Vietnam. That was how much I liked it. The only problem is that when you go to Vietnam, you need to get the visa in advance, which is not a problem. You know, getting a visa for Vietnam is quite a pain-free process. Next time though, I would like to go with someone else, because I went alone and there were times when I wasn't sure if I was going to return from Vietnam, because people kept trying to kill me in the street. There were lots of scooters, and I had to make sure that I was looking in all directions, including behind me. It was almost like living in Rome, but instead of loads of Italians, there were loads of Vietnamese people, and people on their scooters with like chickens and washing machines, and it was crazy. You think the streets of Rome and possibly Naples are bad? It's 10 times worse in Vietnam, let me tell you. Okay, let's move on. What makes a place a paradise? For you, what makes a place a paradise? Which of these are the most important, in making a destination idyllic? Okay, so what do you need to have, guys? Do you need to have a beach, or can you have anything you like? It's your paradise, guys. So I want you to describe for me your paradise in the comment section. I'm going to give you maybe 3 minutes to do this. And I'm going to talk as well and explain to you what I think matters, okay? So here are some points just to help you build your answer, okay? So we've got the atmosphere, experiencing a new culture, the landscape, things to do, monuments, museums, and tourist attractions, okay? So, put the glasses back on. Oh. And of course, the important question that I ask every day is, what is the weather like where you are? Is it idyllic? Is it a paradise? I think, let me check the temperature today. I think in Rome it's like, well, it was 13 degrees when I checked at 10 o'clock again. Now it's 14, and I think it's going to go up to maybe 22. Yeah, the high today is going to be 22 in Rome, and I think tomorrow it's going to be 22. Wednesday it's going, no, sorry, Wednesday. On Friday it's going to be 23, and then on Saturday 24. Let's see what it's going to do next week. Actually, we're getting into the 20s down here in Rome. And humidity is like 59. So it's we're heading towards summer, guys. It's good. It's a good sign. All right. Yeah. That's good. This is what I want to see. It's just a pity that we can't go outside, but you know, we'll get there, guys. Don't worry. We'll get there. Actually, do you know what? I think when we are allowed back outside, we will appreciate the sun and the sand and the sea, and you know, the little things that in the past we didn't really think about. You know, the idea of going to the beach and just walking on the hot sand, or going into the water for a quick swim. We didn't. These were always things that we thought about, and we thought were very pleasurable. But I think after this, we're going to think about them on a whole different level. We're gonna appreciate them much more. Okay. Right. Okay, so let's go back. So I think what makes a paradise? The atmosphere. Okay, so if I think about the atmosphere, what adjectives might I use? Well, the atmosphere for me has to be quite tranquil. It doesn't have to be silent. It doesn't have to be completely silent, but it certainly has to be very, very tranquil, very chilled. Maybe one where you can see animals as well. So fish, or there needs to be movement from animals, and maybe the sound of I don't know, people in the distance. Not too many people, but just some people in the distance. I think if it was completely silent, that would freak me out. Maybe the sound of water. I think for me, I need to hear the sound of water, whether it's the sea or a fountain. But the sound of water is very good. A stream. I quite like it in the mountains too, in the countryside. In the countryside, it can be like a paradise for me too. I always prefer being at the beach. There's something about the beach that I really like. Although I have to be really careful because naturally, because I'm Scottish, I have very pale skin. Not all Scottish people have pale skin, by the way, but I am the traditional Scot in the sense that I've got very pale skin, so I have to be so careful when I go on holiday. When I'm at the beach, I have to put like factor 50 on, and probably a hat and sunglasses, and I have to hide in the shade sometimes. But that's only in the middle of the day. In the morning and in the evening, it's good. It's fine. I think you need to have a nice drink with you, maybe a spritz or some prosecco or a beer. Actually, I really appreciate a cold beer now. Not a lot of beer. I can't drink too much beer, but like a little glass of beer sometimes is very pleasant in the middle of the day. And what else? Good food. Maybe if it's just like fruit, but some good food I always find really really important. And I think as well you need to have some salt, a little bit of salt during the day, because if you're in like a paradise location and it's really really hot, you're sweating loads, and you need to like hydrate. You need to rehydrate yourself, but at the same time you need to take a little bit of salt, because otherwise you'll get really really like weak and lightheaded. So I find that I remember in Vietnam, I had this dish. It was like this sort of white fish that was cooked, but it was cooked with like dill. It's like part of it's almost like part of finocchio, but it's like fennel, but it's like the sort of green herby stuff. It's difficult to describe. I think we call it dill. You can look it up in your own time. So it's a type of herb on this white fish, but it also had peanuts, and it was kind of cooked on a kind of like a type of barbecue. I really don't know what else was in. It had a stock as well, but it was stunning. But they put like peanuts and fish together in Vietnam, and so you have like that sort of saltiness from the fish, but you've got saltiness from the peanuts, and then you've got herbs and like almost like a stock as well. So it has like vegetables and meat together. I don't know what they do, but it's stunning. And you have it with rice. And I remember going to this place. It was like the first place I went to for food in Vietnam, and I was like, oh my goodness. And it's important to have that kind of mixture of like saltiness and like sweetness, and in a place like Vietnam, because it's so humid and you sweat so much that unless you eat something like that now and again, you can feel like really weak. But yeah. And also, I think one of the other places I found really idyllic. It was actually in a place called Marble Mountains. So it was a mountainous area, not like the mountains you see in the picture, but there were. It was like a big hill, basically. It was really quite a mountainous area, but in the mountain, that was where they got the marble. And they got marble, and with the marble they created these beautiful sculptures of Buddhas and stuff. So they used like essentially like a chainsaw to create sculptures of like Buddha, of Lady Buddha, of who else, Jesus, all the different faiths. They created sculptures to look like them, and they had it. They had all these sculptures of Buddhas and Lady Buddhas in the mountains. So it was like this beautiful kind of almost like a mini mountain range in the middle of seemingly nothing. And as you walked around this site, you found different like gigantic structures, and there were just these Buddhas, and it was really beautiful. There was something really kind of serene about it, but there were also like monks, like Buddhist monks. They had all these like temples in the hills too. So I spotted a few monks while I was walking around. You can't. I had to, like, I wasn't allowed to go too near these monks because I didn't want to disturb them. But it was a really kind of beautiful place. But it was probably one of the most humid places as well, because I was dripping with sweat at one point. But then it was okay. But you have to watch, because I think sometimes if you go to one of these countries, it can be really humid to the point that you're sweating, and then you feel cold. So it's that constant balance of feeling really, really wet, but then like try not to get cold. So you have to take a cardigan, I think, a light cardigan or a scarf, and just wrap it around yourself, because you don't know when you're going to get cold. Okay. Yeah, the cultural thing is a big one. Actually, exposing yourself to a different culture and just eating food that you wouldn't normally eat, I think, is like the single most important thing to do. I really enjoy Vietnamese cooking. I would say it's up there. I mean, I love Italian food as well, don't get me wrong. But I have to say Vietnamese food is also really, really good. But I also think as well, when we talk about favorite food and what food means to us, you have to remember location. Where are you eating this food? So, for example, if I go to Italy for a holiday, and I'm from, I don't know, I'm from England, for example, I go to Italy and I want to eat Italian food, right? So if I go to Vietnam, I want to eat Vietnamese food. I'm not looking for the local Indian restaurant, am I? So I think I think food needs to sometimes be eaten in a particular location for you to feel the sensation that you are in a paradise. I think as much as food can be transportative, like I made a Moroccan dish here in my house in Rome, and I, having never been to like Morocco, I was kind of transported to a place where I'd never been to, and I really like that kind of food. So for me, it doesn't matter necessarily if I'm in the country or not, but equally, I can understand that sometimes you actually have to try the food in the country where you are to get that full experience, and also to have the same food in your own country or in a different country. It's not the same. It's not the same. Does anyone else find paradise simply in food? Let me know. Okay, useful phrases. What do the underlined words, phrases mean? We stayed in the heart of the city. It was packed and vibrant. I need to put my glasses back on. It was packed and vibrant, a bustling town. The castle was vast and run down. I'd never come across a place quite like it. It was off the beaten track, tranquil and unspoilt. I strolled past the palm trees lined up side by side along the beach. There was too much to take in as we drove across the breathtaking landscape. The mountains form a backdrop to the town. Okay. In the heart of the city. This is a really cute phrase. It's in the heart, literally in the center of the city. It's packed and vibrant, a bustling town. Packed and vibrant, fantastic. Okay, vibrant, like neon colors, bright red, bright orange. So something that is bright, like hi, I'm a color. That's vibrant. Okay, but also vibrant in the sense is there's like movement. There's lots of energy. So vibrant to me would also be like Rio de Janeiro, in the sense that there's lots of movement and excitement and joy. Okay, bustling town, again, Rio de Janeiro, or bustling town could be Delhi in India, or Rome, Rome in the summer. No, I'm joking. Possibly, not in August. The castle was vast and run down. So run down, it means that the castle was very, very big. Run down, it means like almost a ruin, like it wasn't terribly well, it wasn't in good condition. Run down doesn't it means that something isn't in good condition. So for example, I can say to people, I'm feeling run down. I'm feeling a bit run down. So in the sense that I don't feel in good condition. I'm feeling run down. I'm feeling a bit ropey. That's another one. That's one I say sometimes. I'm feeling a bit ropey today. A bit ropey. It means you're like, oh, not good. Okay. I never come across a place like it. To come across, it's like I'd never seen a place, I'd never been to a place like it in the past. It was off the beaten track. Okay, tranquil and unspoilt. So tranquil, we know it's like sort of calm. Unspoilt, it means no one's touched it. So to spoil something is the verb when. So imagine like when it snows and there is snow on the mountains, and you open the door of your chalet and you put one of your feet onto the snow, and you make an impression on the snow, and when you start to walk through the snow, you see all these footprints behind you. You have effectively spoilt the beautiful snow. It's almost like icing before you stand on the snow. So unspoiled is like when it's perfect beforehand, right? Off the beaten track. So the beaten track is basically the road that everybody goes down. And off the beaten track is when instead of you taking the tourist track, the place where all the tourists, where all the people normally go down, you go off in a different direction. Okay, you go on an adventure. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the next one. I strolled past the palm trees. Stroll is like to walk in a very casual fashion. To stroll is to be casual, lined up side by side, okay, next to each other. There was too much to take in. If I say there was too much to take in, so too much normally is negative. Okay, it has a negative meaning. To take in, so if I say to take in the scenery. Take in the scenery means to like visualize, to see the scenery. So if there was so much, it basically just means when there's much to see, there is a lot to see, but there is too much of it. Okay, you don't have time to see everything. Okay. And also in the sense that it's overwhelming. It's like, whoa, stop. Okay. All right. Breathtaking. Breathtaking is when it takes your breath and you are left with your mouth open. You're like, oh my goodness, wow. So it's like when you go to the Grand Canyon in Las Vegas, or near Las Vegas, and you get out of the helicopter or however you get to the Grand Canyon, and your mouth just drops because you have never seen anything quite like it. Okay. And finally, the mountains form a backdrop to the town. Oh, excuse me. So I'm going to finish this coffee. Oh, it's cold. Oh. Iced coffee, I think. Needs a bit of sugar, probably. Mountains form a backdrop to the town. A backdrop is like the background. Okay, backdrop is like background. Okay, good. Okay. Guys, if you have any questions, please write in the comments section. I know there are a couple of you watching. Don't be shy, come on. You can talk too. Okay. Now we're going to Marrakesh. Okay. So this looks like a souk in Marrakesh. Has anyone been to Morocco? I'd quite like to go, actually. There are lots of places there I'd like to visit, and also because I love the food. So for me, it would be like yum, yum. Okay. My aunt and uncle went to Marrakesh a few years ago, and my uncle did a cooking class in Marrakesh. He loved it. My goodness, and 1 year he made a tagine for us, and it was stunning. But there are some things in Moroccan cooking that you need to prepare months in advance. So, for example, lemons, preserved lemons. You need to get some like lemons, slice them up, put them in a jar with loads of salt. And if you want to put like, I don't know, like a chili or some herbs in there as well, You need like a Kilner jar though. You need a good quality jar, like a Kilner jar, for example. You could use you could in theory just use a leftover jam jar, or a jar that you've used that has like passata or something in it. You just need to like sterilize it well before you use it, but yeah, it should be all right. Okay, it's easy to lose yourself in the narrow, winding streets of Marrakesh, and we mean that both literally and metaphorically. Smell the spices in the air, brush up on your haggling at one of the bustling markets, then sip mint tea in the Majorelle garden. End your day lounging in the rooftop garden of your riad, watching the sunset over this timeless city. Incredible. Oh my goodness. How much I would like to go to that place. Okay. Guys, would any of you go to Marrakesh? Okay. Okay. So this is a little bit difficult to do. So how is the scenery described? What does the reviewer love about the place? What is one drawback of your paradise on earth? Would you like to go there? Which destination would you prefer to go to? Okay. So what I'd like to do is talk about how scenery is described. So when you check out reviews of places that people travel to in the world, for example, Lonely Planet or TripAdvisor, or just people's blogs, a lot of travel bloggers on the internet talk about scenery in a very kind of elegant way. Okay, so it's not just a case of, yeah, we went to Marrakesh, we had something to eat, we went for a walk, and then we came home. Like, we don't talk about holidays like that. Holidays hit us emotionally, so of course we're going to try and use some of our emotion when describing some of the places. You know, to a certain extent, we will do that. So we're going to use more elegant language to describe a place, not necessarily just beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful. Oh, it was a paradise. Wow. So, for example, you might use words instead of saying words like the sea was blue. You might say the sea was like crystal clear, like a glass. It was very clear. You could see it. Instead of saying the sunset was very colorful, you could say, well, the sunset had colors like orange, peach, violet. So you might talk about colors in a slightly different way than you would do normally. So you could also say, instead of green and blue, you can say turquoise, aquamarine. So try, when you are explaining holiday experiences in English, use a different color than what you would normally use. Try and compare what you're seeing to a different something else, right? So I don't know. So you could say the water was turquoise. The spices added heat to the dish. Added heat to the dish. The spices warmed my heart. The spices were unusual. You could say I could smell aromas. So not just like there was a smell in the air. You say there was an aroma, or you could say there was a strong odor. There was, when you describe the people, you could say the people were welcoming rather than simply just friendly. You could say if people were welcoming, people were chatty, people. So you need to just try and work on your vocabulary, guys. Try not to just limit yourself to, it was nice, I had a nice time, it was nice, I will go back. You need to think about other words to say the same thing, but in a slightly different way, okay? Hey Giuseppe, well done. Thank you for commenting and saying hi, saying good morning to me. Giuseppe, unfortunately, I will have to go in like a minute because we only have these online lessons for 50 minutes. So please feel free to watch all of it, and you might hear my message at the very end of the recording. Okay, so in summary, what have we done today? Well, we've talked about what a paradise is, what it looks like, and I've talked at length about how you can describe a paradise. Okay. The one thing you guys need to do to boost your knowledge of vocabulary when talking about, not just about what a paradise is, but talking generally about holidays, about locations in the world, geography. Okay, you actually need to boost your vocabulary so you can make comparisons when we're talking about food, when we're talking about descriptions of objects, of people, okay? So for example, comparing the water to glass, like crystal clear. We talk about like sometimes the water, when it's so still, you can see your reflection in the water like a mirror. So thinking about metaphors and analogies and comparisons is really important in English as well, as it is in all languages. But that is one way to boost your communication skills, is actually thinking of ways to describe a scene. And it's also good, especially if you don't know what the word is, if you don't know how to describe a situation in English, what does it look like? What does it look like? What do you think about it? You don't necessarily have to be someone who feels everything. You can just simply say, things like, well, I think it's or I thought it was like a watermelon. I thought the sunset was kind of pink or red, like a watermelon. It had that color. It was difficult to describe, like if you, do you know what I mean? Like just compare it to something, and of course people will think, watermelon, and yeah, that's really kind of pink red. Okay, that sounds beautiful. Wow. So just, you don't have to know every adjective in the world in English, but you do need to be able to say it was like eating an orange, but it was more tropical. Something of that description. Okay, guys, I will have to leave you there. Okay, I hope that was helpful. My advice is actually just to search travel blogs in English. So if you fancy going to a particular country, a particular beach, a particular location in the world, don't type the phrase in Italian or your own language. Type the phrase in English. So type the country in English, holiday reviews, whatever, okay, and check out the reviews in English, okay, and read the reviews in English, so that you can boost your vocabulary, increase your reading skills, and also your writing, speaking. It's all together, okay? So you can't get good at speaking in English unless you read a little bit, Okay, so use that as a little homework exercise. Okay, cool, awesome, guys. Look, take care of yourselves. Hope to hear from you in future online videos, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.